And welcome back to What About Nutrition, a great show, the very special guest, back now to Mr. Nutrition himself, Mr. David Gall. David?
Well, hey, everybody. We've been sitting here interviewing an all-star in our industry, Terry Lemerond, who is really a legend in the world of nutrition. And we've been talking about curcumin, which is a compound that comes from turmeric that has historically been used to promote reduction of pain, reduction of inflammation. Tremendous amounts of studies have been coming out of places like MD Anderson Cancer Center and other universities all around the world. And so we've been talking a lot about curcumin and its uses for pain. And Terry, I wanted to ask you, so do natural sources for treating pain, such as curcumin, do they have side effects like over-the-counter and prescription drugs, or are they different?
Well, you're going to find very, very little side effects, if any, with curcumin. It's a very, very safe compound. And when we talk about side effects, we're not talking about liver failure. We're not talking about death. We're talking about something as simple as maybe, that made me a little bit queasy when I took it on an empty stomach. So for those people, you just take it after a meal. And really, actually, curcumin, because it always loves fat, it loves to be absorbed systemically with additional fats. So when you eat it with a meal or take it with a meal, you're taking it with additional fats in the meal, so that even actually enhances its benefits. So people that take it on an empty stomach, maybe they could have a little bit of queasiness. But, I've only seen maybe that 5 times, maybe in 5 years, so it's very, very mild in any kind of side effects.
Sure.
You go back and look at the statistics, even on side effects of drugs. In the last 3 years, 650,000 people died, prescription drugs, not because of the disease, not because of what they were being treated for, but because of what the treatment was. In the last 3 years, in fact, in the last 27 years, there have been no deaths to any herbal product or natural product.
Right, and that's so important to note. I'm glad you brought that up because a lot of folks, particularly in our community, which is a community that I think is still sort of, getting used to the idea of using natural supplements and, what some people would describe as alternative medicine, but I would think of as, critical. And there's this idea among some people that herbs can cause, all these side effects or that there's been all these dangers or deaths. And it's so important that you just mentioned there's been no deaths over the last 27 years from many of these herbal supplements.
Exactly right. I mean, it's such a safe industry, such a safe way to rely on in supporting our body and making our body healthier. 95% of the world's population depend on plant medicines for their medicines. And we are only 5% of the world's population in the United States, yet we depend on 50 to 60% of all the world's manufactured drugs for our health care program.
Right. It's not as if we have the highest life expectancy in the world or anything close to it.
No, in fact, out of 37 nations that are being monitored by World Health Organization for their health, we are 37th out of 37. So we are the worst country in the world.
Oh, my gosh. That's just incredible. So, coming back to curcumin, a lot of folks are probably out there wondering, they're on various medications. Is it safe for them to use something like a curcumin, a turmeric extract with their other medications?
Absolutely safe. In fact, here's what they found out at the MD Anderson Hospital. When chemotherapeutic drugs were used, because they do use all kinds of methods at the MD Anderson Treatment Center, Cancer Treatment Center, they use chemotherapy, radiation, but they're looking for natural substances, and they're researching natural substances in the laboratories. But what they found out was that when they actually gave natural curcumin to their cancer patients that were already on chemotherapeutic drugs, they could lower the dosage of chemotherapeutic drugs, and they did not see the serious toxic side effects, did not see the liver damage when they were also on curcumin with their cancer drugs.
Wow, that's incredible. So it really can serve as an adjunct to other therapies as well.
You can protect your body because when you have an anti-inflammatory and an antioxidant in the same package as curcumin, very, very powerful because that's what causes all of our illnesses and our disease and our disorders in our body is oxidative stress and inflammation. We can stop that with curcumin. In fact, if I only could take one thing the rest of my life, it would be curcumin because it has such a powerful effect on all aspects of our health. It improves liver function, improves immune function. It's the most powerful antioxidant you can find commercially. It's a very powerful anti-inflammatory, pain-relieving, anti-cancer, cancer treatment. I mean, you got the whole package. In fact, in India, they call it the all-in-one solution because it does everything. Even Alzheimer's disease, they don't even have a word in their vocabulary for Alzheimer's disease.
Yeah, I was reading about that a few years ago, that they were correlating the tremendous intake of turmeric, which of course in India is consumed always with fat, and they were correlating that intake of turmeric combined with fat in the Indian population with the incredible statistics coming out of India regarding how low the rates of incidence of Alzheimer's actually are there.
In fact, if you do an autopsy on an Indian citizen, you'll find that the brain is stained orange. The brain actually,
wow.
The tissues of the brain actually are colored orange because of the turmeric coloring.
That's incredible. I've never heard that before. That's amazing.
And because of that, and because now this special curcumin that's bound to the fats can be absorbed systemically, now there is a huge study going on in Australia at the Edith Cowan University in Perth. Professor Ralph Martin, who is the one accredited for finding that the beta-amyloid plaque is one of the causative factors for Alzheimer's disease, has selected this very special curcumin, BCM95, for his big study. I mean, it's going to be, for a natural product, that's a big study. It's like a 1 to 2 year study for 150 to 200 patients. That's revolutionary because that's going to cost several $1 million on one natural product. That's not really heard of.
No.
But it was preceded with a 6-month study in Hong Kong, at the University of Hong Kong, by Dr. Larry Blum, that found out that the positive studies was, yes, we've seen so many good things in just 6 months, we got to do a major study, so they're doing a 1 year, 2 year study now in Australia.
Wow, that is incredible. So it's really, you know, and what I love about this is curcumin is really becoming one of the breakout herbs that really is forcing the medical community to acknowledge that there is so much power in this natural medicine.
Oh, yeah. In fact, I saw a report, David, this morning where an oncologist in California said that Steve Jobs should have been treated with curcumin.
Boy, you know, and I wish he had been. Maybe things would be different now.
Genius. What a loss to the world.
I agree.
Yeah. And wasn't he kind of back-offish about some treatments and not so much with others? I mean, I don't know. It's a big news story out right now.
Well, I think he kind of opted for fruits and vegetables as a more vegetarian-type diet. Mm-hmm. I don't know if he used anything like curcumin or turmeric or any kind of natural supplements or formulations. But this oncologist from California was saying that because of the pancreatic cancer that he had, the type that he had, you know, that there's 30 years of process going on before it's even diagnosed.
Right.
He would have been put on he believed that curcumin would have been his best chance.
Right. Well, that's really, really incredible. And I just wanted to mention here in the last 4 minutes or so of this show that, you know, of course, there's different brands of turmeric extract out there, different brands of curcumin. We carry 4 or 5 in our store right now. But a lot of them are these dry capsules that don't combine the curcumin with fat, that don't really take the absorption into the bloodstream into account. And of course, we sell the Europharma products that were designed by you, Curamin and Curamed, as well as others. And I'd like to give you another opportunity to sort of comment on what separates those products from all the other curcumins on the market, particularly now that curcumin is really starting to become kind of you know, more and more well-known because it's been on Dr. Oz, and many other companies are coming out with products that may not be as effective.
Well, David, you know my history. My history is to put out quality products that deliver results. And so I spent a lot of time in India working with the lab there that developed this very, very high quality, which is called BCM95 curcumin. Mm-hmm. Actually, what they have is they have a patented process where they homogenize it with turmeric essential oils that are very high in tumerones that increase absorption substantially. And they have human data on that. There's no other companies that have human data that shows that it absorbs systemically. And because of that, they have in fact, they just presented a huge study about a month ago at an organization called ORSI. ORSI stands for Osteoarthritis Research Society International. And that's where all the top researchers from around the world gather to talk about osteoarthritis and what can be done about it. And usually it's in a different country. It was in Belgium last year. It's going to be in Barcelona next year. It was in San Diego this year. And a huge study was presented there on the combination of curcumin, BCM95, and a very special boswellia. Actually outperformed Celebrex to increase walking distance, reduction of pain, all the parameters that are surrounding osteoarthritis. More effective. 2 herbs together, more effective than Celebrex. There also is there's a rheumatoid arthritis just coming out. There's a depression study coming out. There's an Alzheimer's disease study coming out. This is the most premier product in the world in terms of curcumin, the most well-studied and well-researched and well-patented study and product anywhere in the world.
Wow, that's really incredible, and I have seen results in our store. We've been, working with these products for approximately the last 4 years. I was telling Terry over our break that really they've been the most consistent performers in terms of noticeable pain relief that I've ever seen. Products that have really I've seen change some people's minds single-handedly. That alternative medicine and herbal medicine can provide benefits. And one quick last point that you alluded to, Terry. You've actually come up with a few different turmeric or curcumin-based formulations that have this BCM95 in them, but that are geared towards slightly different things. You've got them geared for inflammation. You've got others that are geared more for pain. Others that are geared more for promoting long-term health. And I think that's another really cool aspect of your products.
Well, we have done that. In fact, our product called Curamin, which is Curamin, Curamin, we have developed that product to reduce pain. We've also made a product called Curamed, which deals with healthy inflammation response for people that have an inflammatory response modification. We also have made a product called Healthy Knees and Joints.
Yes.
It's based on the study that we just presented at Orsi in San Diego, huge study for osteoarthritis. So we have developed a number of products that can be consistently used and actually targeted specifically for an area in the body like knees or joints or back, or for pain or for inflammation. They are all designed to help in a different way, but different ratios and different combinations and uniqueness and targeted for that specific area of the body.
Well, that makes perfect sense. You guys have really put a lot of thought into it. And Terry, I really want to thank you for being on our show today. It's really been incredible and enlightening and such an incredible, fun experience to talk to you. And, with that, I'm going to turn it over to Steve, and we'll wrap things up. But we are going to have you on our next show next week as well, which is going to be discussing iodine, thyroid, and the adrenals. So that's going to be another really important show.
Oh, David, my pleasure. It's been nice to be with you.
All right, fabulous show. Don't forget, this is all about nutrition exclusively on this radio station. Very excited. Of course, David Gall and his wife Diana, owners of O'Fallon Nutrition. You can find them at www.o'fallonnutrition.com. O'fallonnutrition.com, where they archive these shows. And we'll be back when it's time once again for What About Nutrition?